where we are at and where we are going with Steve Antoine as regards the land space for the celebration of Emancipation Day every Thursday from 10:25 a.m. to 10:55 a.m. It's Conscious Talk on the Street 919 FM.
All right, Trinidad and Tobago, so Mr. Antoine is already in studio, so I'm going to hand you over to Mr. Antoine. Good morning.
Pleasant morning, Trinidad and Tobago. By extension, the world at large. A pleasant morning to Mr. Google and the gentleman who is a little to my left. Pleasant morning. This morning, I wish to highlight that I did make contact or had a discussion with one of the gentlemen who I believe is the main individual I wanted to speak to as regards the situation at hand. And this gentleman is Mr. Kafra Cambon. And when I contacted Mr. Cambon, it was in a sad moment whereby he indicated to me that he has lost his brother, Mr. Don Dabo. And his brother is in Norway, and he has to attend his brother's funeral. And he gave me the assurance that when he's back, he will address the nation, not me, the nation as to where we are at and where we are going in terms of this precious commodity, in terms of a level of equality, land space. And I'm speaking in comparison of the 5 Islands and the Baraka Grounds, that kind of thing, not piece of land for Tom, Dick, and Harry. So I want to extend my condolences to Mr. Kafra Cambon, to his family, and hope that he will be back soon. And this morning, I wish to speak as a national, as a person who was born in Trinidad and Tobago, as a person who was always looking on, always listening. And there are many things which is on the agenda, which I believe needs some level of look into, or of introspection, more or less, for a better word. And when I speak, I always say I would like to ensure that I'm not disrespectful. I am within the ranks of a humble individual who is living in this country, a person with a reasonable amount of humility and respect, because I was brought up, I wasn't dragged up. I want to repeat something this morning. I'm asking that people would hear me as I ask my questions, but I'm not speaking like if I'm Mr. Know-It-All, but I'm asking with a level of humility. Mostly I'm asking is questions. I love to ask questions. And while I was in private school, I always hear my teacher say, no question is a stupid question. Because if you do not know, you have to ask a question. For the last couple of days, over 15 days ago, there wasn't any water in my community up till this morning. No water. We speaking to Wassa this morning. And I had all intentions to come here to speak about Wassa this morning. And then I heard, which I believe was Wednesday night, I heard conversation with the Prime Minister, our Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley, speaking to the said matter. And in his presence was the Minister of Public Utilities, Mr. Marvin Gonzalez, a young gentleman, very articulate. You could see he is raring from the minute go to work. He also indicated to us that he's a lawyer. Let me repeat myself with that last statement. Mr. Marvin Gonzalez indicated to the population in the presence of his Prime Minister, by profession, he is a lawyer. Mr. Marvin Gonzalez was given the task of doing some form of investigation, for a better word, into Wassa. And that night with the conversation, I heard certain things which I want to respectfully, again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm asking questions. I came on this program initially and I indicated that at the age of 18, I went to an institution. That institution, the name of that institution was Caribbean Marine Technical Services. Let me repeat. Caribbean Marine Technical Services. That is in the year 1978, because at the age of 10, I indicated one transpired, and then my mother took me to this institution. 8 years later, Caribbean Marine Technical Services. To date, in 2022, from 78 to date, I am certified in that field, in technical services. Certified. And I heard some statements with our goodly minister, which I would like to humbly say some things based on my qualifications. And again, not as I know it all and I'm looking for Kankatang, Lackery, and Bacchanal Trinidad style. I'm saying it with humility so that it can be addressed, so that some level of, how I could put it, understanding could be had. And I'll go directly to the point I want to make. WASA have its job to do. And over the years, I believe in any institution, somebody have to be in charge. Who is in charge of WASA over the years? And as I speak, I want to ask a question. How do we make doubles? Flour, what have you? How do we make fry bake? Flour, but the main ingredient is water. Who make water? What are the ingredients to make water? Tell me. What are the ingredients to make water? Our Father, our Maker, the Almighty God has placed water here for us to manage the water, to distribute, to clean, to filterize, whatever, so that it would reach the person who would use water. And to date, from in the year 1960 to date, I was born in the year 1960 to date, nobody can get it right to manage water. Who is to be held responsible? And all I am hearing is billions and billions and billions and billions. That is all I am hearing. And I'm saying that with respect. Understand where I'm going. The goodly minister spoke about valves. He spoke about data loggers. He spoke about digitizing. Let me say this, in my respectful view, as a certified technician, all years, for over 40 years, somebody allegedly is setting up this young man. I want to say this with all due respect, because a valve, as I know it, I'm talking about a manual valve. All you do, you open and close. And as you open, if it's air, if it's water, if it's gas, supposed to pass through. And it could only go in one direction. I'm speaking about a manual valve. 2 action, 1 function, for a better word. Action in that you open and you close. That is the only function of a valve. There are electronic valves, which may be used in other installation as the case may be, but we're speaking to the manual valve, which has been there for umpteen years, which WASA has access to. Now, for those valves to open and close, somebody have to do it manually, because this is not an electrical valve. So the person who is tasked to open this valve is a man with the terminal, they call him a turncock. So that is his portfolio. I heard a prime minister in the past said, all you need is a level head and common sense. It don't even take that to open a valve and close it. Your pipe is considered a valve. Your pipe is considered, when you open, what water? Our goodly gentleman, with all due respect and humility again, some technical individual indicated to digitize valves. Every single valve will be digitized. I mean, the valve just have to open and close. It's a manual valve. So I don't know if I'm missing something. I'm here to ask the question. if in digitizing the valve, or if it has to be digitized, what would be involved and what would be the cost? And for a turncock man, which I said here, it was indicated that you don't know when, if you're here. Well, then if that's the case, I want to add a little solution to that problem. Train more people or get more people on board to start opening the valve so that people could get water in their taps. If there is a leak or a pump shut down, well, that is something legitimate enough to say, well, hey, we can't get water because it's the pump what creates a pressure to push the water. And if the pressure is there behind the opening of the valve, it's right there, all you have to do is open the valve and the water will be dispersed to different communities and houses as the case may be. And if the turncock man given problem, my solution, I'm just saying, I would like to say, and I can't say something what could help, the tool, what is used to open the valve is something like a wheel spanner. All of us know what is a wheel spanner. You have your wheel spanner, and it is aligned to suit the head of the bolt what is holding in it. So let's picture our wheel spanner lining up to this head or this bolt to open or crack the nut. The head on the valve to open the water is of such, not directly the same shape, but you need this piece of something like a wheel spanner, but it's longer because it have to go down in the hole, fit the head of the valve, and you just turn left or right to open. You open, you leave it for how much hours, because everybody know in this country, you get water, how much hours, and then they come and they lock it off. That is how it's been done for years since I knew it. So this turncock person, I am saying, the people or the ministry, whoever, could get these tools and leave it in every single constituency office. And you get people who could just go and open and close. So when the turncock man who feel he have to have thousands of people crying for water, you just do so, you make a call, you realize the turncock man, you go to the authorities first, you ain't doing anything bike and how you want. You call, you find out, well, what is the position? Why the turncock man doesn't open the valve? What have you? And you have the tool, which is a piece of iron, about 4 feet long, like a cross, as I said, like a wheel spanner. Only thing it's longer. Why it's longer? Because that turncock is down in the earth, the valve is in the earth, and every time they put a layer pitch, it becomes deeper. Some of the valve. So therefore, the tool could be accessible, that you could make a call, you could send somebody to open the valve, because this turncock man don't want to open the valve. Now, there may be legitimate reasons also, because I am sure most of us would see the washer van park, and we will see a man with a piece of iron turning something. That is the turncock man. And why I'm saying there may be legitimate reasons, you know, sometimes it have certain areas where you can't just go in just like that. And for water, you know, the time these valves will be open is all 3 o'clock in the morning, you know what I'm saying? People, the gentlemen have to go in certain areas. And legitimately we could understand, hey, because of that, he can't go in the area. But to know a community, you know, water, this commodity water, what God has blessed us with. And to know you ain't getting water. Up to this morning, I drove out my gate just for a little while. And as I came back, I am pressing my button and my gate not moving. Hitting the remote thinking it's the battery. Same time, my daughter who works with the she came out and said, Daddy, current. I said, what? 4 times since after the major breakdown, 4 times within a month, no current. Something wrong in this country. Something wrong. And she's telling me now, Daddy, how could I call to say that the current gone? Because she's working at home. Would they believe me, Daddy? I said, well, you have to call. They don't have any current. They could do their investigation to see if you are telling the truth. My point is, I have in my hand here 2 receipts. 2 receipts. One for Wassa, one for T&Tech. Because, you know, sometimes they might do a survey in an area and you say, see them are paying. It's so much different thing I could say that alludes to this situation. It ain't funny. Why is it? And I don't want to use the word poor people, you know, because when you say certain things, people take it out of context. Right? is not fair. I also heard, I will go back to the point where I heard the word digitalize valves. And I am saying, whoever is the technical person in alignment with Mr. Gonzalez, I would like that person to come and explain to this country. Because you put the gentleman out there to say something, which in my humble, respectful view, because you have to open a manual valve, I would like to know what would be done in terms of digitalizing the valve so that it would be open and closed. Or, if it have to work in alignment with the water treatment plant, I do not know. I do not know. You see, certain things are being disseminated. Nobody is questioning it. And when you get everybody going up and clap without a level of understanding as to what has been disseminated. You see, the time has come in this country. Things are so hard now. It's tough for everybody. And when the PNM or the political leader or the person who is in charge of the country speak, he doesn't speak to only Lavantel Beatum. He speaks to the entire country. Lance Park, Valstein, every one of us, everybody have to be under the umbrella because he's speaking about the country. So I don't think it is right and fair for people to just feel when they hear something, they clap and the other. I mean, it takes me back to 2010. When all kind of things transpire, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the indifferent, allegedly so. And up to this date, the party which I am in alignment with spoke certain things to see certain things so that today will be a better place. And I ask myself, where are we going? Where are we going? And I speak on behalf of the children, the young people. I don't speak because I want to be heard or I come here to sell a product and whatever is happening, my product cannot sell. I speak on behalf of the young children, not in my area only, but in Lance Park, in Valstein, in all the communities in this country. Because the time will come, 15 years from now, based on how things are projecting, how things is going, I'm wondering what will happen at that point in time. When these young people now are half my age, I'm asking the question. And to our beloved Prime Minister, sir, with all due respect again, things are hard. But I heard you allude to the fact of us tracking electrical buses, sir. The same way Mr. Gonzalez could say houses are billing and billing and billing, and nothing to put in place for water, for the consumption of water, sir. All I heard in connection with roads is that they will start to revamp in terms of fixing leaks, where that is concerned, where leaks is concerned. And here I am hearing, sir, with all due respect to you, sir, I'm hearing the fast tracking of how much buses, electricals, yes, less fuel consumption. But, sir, the roads, where are the roads for the buses? I am hearing about people speaking to the fact why bumper to bumper traffic, and I am on the road, so I could attest to that. Yeah? At this 2022, since I was a kid, since the days when they spoke about VAT, and since, I could lift you all those things, and I say someday it would be better, someday it would be better, and my God, where we are at, and where are we going? And if I, as a human being who have lived in this country, I have in my possession a document what I used to travel, and I go many places, and I never stay out of this country for more than 3 weeks, if so much. I love my country. So it's not to go say I stay out for 3 months and somebody have to tell me what transpired last week. I'm always say, my ears is always on the ground. Because when you're going out, you stamp, you have 3 months, you could stay here. I don't know, I am always here. So I believe I could speak with respect and ask questions. All these questions, I would like to be answered. Because sometimes, as I say, you may speak in haste. You might not have the facts, but you're bumping your gum for a better word. I will say that for me. Here I am, don't know the facts. And then the facts will come out. And then I would say, wow, I do apologize. I'm asking questions. There is so much I could say, but so little time. I'm also on Synergy on Saturdays now from 5 to 6 p.m. Synergy, the same job, for the benefit of my children. I say my children because somehow the alignment, I cannot see the alignment, but all I always say, I don't see Indian people killing Indian, the Indian boys, the young men. I don't see Syrian killing Syrian. Somehow, but for the Afro-Trinidadians, I don't want to be Afrocentric to always say Africans. I want to say Trinidadian. I am a Trinidadian. I love this place. I love the people. I love the young men. I love equality. I love peace. I love serenity. How much of us looks up in the sky when the days come? How much of us look up and know how much thousands and thousands of birds just be flying over our heads? Most of us only playing Candy Crush or whatever else game, plain simple, and that's how it. Because I look at reality shows and I see how much marriages this beyond the breakup. So you know what? The husband whole day on a chair on some kind of game. Always head looking down and not looking around, as I made the analogy in terms of me taking off my bridle. Where we are at and where we are going. When I speak, I had a song emotional because it's so much to bear. And it's all within me. Because at night I just sleep the first couple of hours and then I can't sleep because imagine me, Steve Antoine. I don't think, why I am on the radio, What I doing here, boy? What I doing here? That is the question. And something my God told me. My God say, who was the individual at 10 years old was getting a flogging for a situation you didn't even know about? And I answered the question in my heart. And then the question was asked, who 8 years later transitions to an institution, Caribbean Marine Technical Services? And then I said, yes, shoot. And then when I heard the goodly minister, and to date I'm saying I'm certified in that technical firm, in that technical line of work rather, I work in many firms and to date God has blessed me. And when I hear technical and the goodly young man start to speak, I am saying no. So I'm asking for somebody to come and explain what this digitalizing manual valve or the washer valve entails. Because to me it doesn't sound logical. With respect, where we are at and where we are going, generally, as a people, most of us have children. Am I alone? I ask myself the question at times. We have some major places in this country in terms of, I will use this station here for an example. This station is close to TTT. It's not in no high-risk area. Gael is not no highest area. There are some radio stations, not in no high-risk area. And I am hearing people speaking for people to come in, the powers that be to come and just have a discussion with the people. And we close to TTT. If you spit hard, you could spit on top of TTT. The owner of this radio station is a gentleman who could only sing boom boom time and han. And here it is. In his wisdom, he has acquired this station. 99.99999% of the callers on this station is of Afro-Trinidadian descent. The people who works on this station is and by extension PNM. I ask myself sometimes, is it a national movement? And why I ask that? The most powerful word in the PNM is people. And I want to say this morning, most times to me it seems like a national movement based on decisions and based on things that transpired. And then after the fact, you're hearing things because already, some data loggers has been purchased based on what I hear. Some other things has been purchased based on what I hear. But to me, it seems like a national movement. I am saying put the P back in the NM and don't let it sound and look like a national movement. This is the people's national movement. And I say that with humility. I mean, where we are at and where we are going. Where we are at and where we are going. We only fight among ourselves. I call on every single politician, every single people who work on state boards, in connection with also with the union leaders. You are in charge. All of you all are in charge. You all are given state vehicles, perks. You all are charged to the running of this country. For the COVID, I hear so much things what our goodly Attorney General did to keep us in line. Yes, overnight we hear certain things because it has to be passed so that certain law, for instance, even wearing a mask, but yet still, people are doing and breaking rules with impunity. And all we are hearing, like the judiciary is power unto themselves. With all due respect, I'm saying it as I hear it, and I'm willing to ask questions so that answers could be had, so I could say, you know what, Steve, Mr. Antoine, you've been ignorant. What you are saying and what you are hearing is not so. I am always willing to learn. I'm asking the question. People are doing things allegedly so or not. But once your name is called, if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it could never be a pussycat. Real. And I don't know what's happening in my country. And nobody is to speak out. And why me? Why me, Lord? I call my counselor, and like he's a toothless bulldog as regards the situation also with wash and whatever. My counselor, Mr. Antoine, yes. With all due respect, I'm asking myself, what if I have a business? And I give people to run the business, and they are not doing it, and I'm seeing I'm falling in a pit, or I'm going to lose. I will call some, and I will start to speak. And if it doesn't work, well, then something else has to happen. Yes, because I want my business to be successful. This is why I say the government in charge, more or less, is in charge of this business, the people's business. Where we are at and where we are going. Where we are at and where we are going. With all humility, I ask this question, and I think we the people are deserving of answers, in fairness. Because if a radio station or TV, they have bills to pay too. And if we are graced with presence of people, and I'm speaking to people who is in the belly at this said party, this party which I said a while ago, is it a national party? Or is it the people's national movement? A national movement or the people's national? Why can't we be graced by Mr. Coleman Booth, a gentleman who has a smile that, I mean, he could speak to us, grace us with his presence, not only when it's election, because they know we have to vote, we will see them in person or hear them and I'm not speaking on a national level. On a national level, you're speaking to the entire country. But I'm speaking to people who is on this station. Sometimes they're getting licks. They're getting stripes. How could you send me on a battlefield with a slinging shot when those who I'm opposed to have guns and arrows and cutlasses put me to fight with artillery too? Let it be balanced. My God.
Tune into the street at 919 FM this and every Thursday for the program Conscious Talk, where we are at and where we are going with Steve Antoine as regards the land space for the celebration of Emancipation Day every Thursday from 10:25 a.m. to 10:55 a.m. It's Conscious Talk on the street 919 FM.
The views expressed are not necessarily the views of the management of the Street 919 FM.
What is Apex?